Welcome to Cold Brew Conversations. On today's episode, we're talking to Nathan Hollis, a senior industrial skills trainer at ISTA, or Industrial Skills Training Academy. Let's grab a cup and get the conversation started. Breaking news! The best industrial skills trainer is on the line, Nathan Hollis, for a cold brew conversation.
Did you say cold brew?
There he is. What's up, Nathan?
Hey, how you doing, my friend?
Cheers.
Cheers.
So,
all right.
Here's the quick run through, Nathan, is pretty easy. Digital learning, what's new at ISTA, and then where the conversation goes.
Okay, digital learning. Well, we use a state-of-the-art learning management system that has all sorts of topics. We have over almost 4,000 courses actually now in our library. And we use digital learning as, if you will, a tenderizer. So we tenderize their brain with digital learning to get them to understand the topic we're going to talk about. The digital learning gives them tests on that topic. And then we actually go into the instructor-led and hands-on lessons of that same topic.
Well, let's dissect it back a little bit.
All right.
First, I know that you're the greatest skills trainer in the Southeast, but I don't think the internet knows yet. So
right.
You tell us a little bit about what you do and what is ISTA.
Okay.
We know ISTA best, but
it's the best training.
But why?
Mainly because we do our training here at the factory on site with a 50,000 square foot training center. It's an amazing facility. It's all hands-on. And what it is US Sugar, the company I work for, has decided to train their own mechanics. We have such a shortage of the skilled trades, especially mechanics. So they've decided, you know what, we need to train our own mechanics because it's hard to find good mechanics. And a lot of young people don't realize that the trades are a great resource and a great direction in life. So we decided, you know, we're going to build our own mechanics because we want them to live down here in South Central Florida, and their families are here, their roots are here. So they're more than happy to have an opportunity like this. Plus we pay them, that's always a benefit.
So there's a lot going on with that. So it's, just to get it straight, you have a program that'll pay you as you join?
Yes.
And state-of-the-art facility, like, we'll definitely. So that being said, how many students do you have right now? What are you up to?
Well, right now we're up to 17 students. Come September 1st, we'll be up to 27 students. And then we will have about 30 students constantly all the time. We get new students every year, up to 10 new students every single year.
Now, I know if you have 17 students, how many students applied to get those spots? Like, what does that look like? So if I'm just like a cold brew geek, like hanging out at Starbucks down the road, how do I find out about, actually getting back to work?
Well, the easiest thing is to go to our website, which is ISTA.tech, TECH, ISTA.tech. And there's a short video there, and there's some different, a lot of different information for you there that'll help you find out what we truly are. But it's not an easy thing to get into, but yet it's very, very worthwhile for the right candidate. We're looking for energy. We're looking for energetic young men and women that truly want to be in the mechanical trade, truly enjoy the way things work, tearing things apart, building them back up again, truly enjoy that kind of work. And to give you an idea, last year we had 256 candidates. Now I will say COVID did play a part in our candidate, the final choosing. But we ended up with 8 candidates out of 256. This year, we're expecting 250 to 300. And so far, so good. We started our recruiting process earlier this year, and we've got some strong candidates. But we're not done.
The one thing I really, really liked about how you choose your candidates, because you don't just like, you know, peanut butter spread it on a bun, you know, you're pretty calculated on how you do it, because I really appreciated that, because it's not for everyone, but how do you know unless you try, right?
No, I think everyone should try.
You know, it's like, how do you know if it's the right career for you? And, you know, because that's a huge expense, like onboarding someone, right? I'm just assuming like you got to spend all this money to get someone on there, and then they find out they hate the job or something like that, you know?
Absolutely. Well, it's just as important to us. It's important that we get the right person that satisfies U.S. sugar requirements, but it's more important, honestly, that they are happy to be here. And all of our guys now are, but it's not easy to pick that person. And once we get down to, let's say, 20 candidates, we've been through a couple of different interviews and testing. We get on 20 candidates. Those 20 candidates have to go out into the factory for 4 weeks, and they work out there in the heat and do the mechanics and work side by side with our current mechanics. And that tells them whether, hey, you know, I really want to do this, or no, that's way too hot, or whatever it may be. We want them to go out there and experience it in real life so they can tell. Because, I mean, that's the biggest thing. If they don't want to be here and we picked them, then we did something wrong. That's why I look at it.
Well, and that's why I've always really loved your approach. I'm like a huge ISTA fanboy. You know, I've studied so many training programs and programs this or that. Like, it's by far like one of the most comprehensive I've seen. And that kind of like, because I see also like you have your in-person and you have your facility, but like one of the things that I loved was that like that welding simulator. Yeah. And all this new technology that's out there. But like for digital learning, I know you said you have like some sort of an LMS, right?
Yes.
Or, what does an LMS stand for?
Learning Management System. And it's basically a digital library of every course imaginable. We have courses on finance. We have courses on electricity. We have courses on hydraulics, pneumatics, diesel engines. We have courses for everything. I mean, it's really interesting. And even motivational courses. Well,
what's a mechanic got to know about finance?
Let's put it this way.
I mean, just from your ignorant, you know, cold brew fanatic. Why do I need to know? Like, I want to be a mechanic, man. What do I need to know about finance?
Well, that is the brainchild of our president, and it's a very, very good idea. Because if you look at the NFL or the NBA or any other professional sports and organization, and you watch what happens when you take a kid fresh out of high school, maybe 1 year in college, and you put him in the NFL making a couple of million a year, what happens normally?
I get it now.
Yeah,
I see it.
They're going to go and they're going to be making good money once they graduate here. And we want them to know how to use it, and we want them to be successful in the long run. So, I mean, our training goes into not only just basic stuff like even balancing a checkbook, but we're going into actual investments and compound interest and all the stuff that I never knew growing up that I wish I'd known.
Heck yeah, man. Boy, I wish I joined your program when I was a teenager. You know what I did? Oh, man. Now, we need to take a quick break. But when we come back, you'll find out what I did with my first big paycheck, some of the tool companies that ISTA has as far as training goes for their students, and you'll find out what Nathan and I like to do with molten chocolate.
Can you afford free training? Of course you can. An overly prepared employee is an employee that takes the time to learn new things to add to knowledge. And knowledge can increase your power. So power up your training with New Employee Success on Udemy.com. Learn the basics of what a new job might expect from you, giving you a heads up to meet those expectations, which starts by being overly prepared. And how much does this training cost you? Nothing. It's free. And if you like that, buy the next one called Introduction to Manufacturing and continue your growth as an FNG with your favorite fancy new guy. Click the link below or use the promo code to start your free training today. And I'll see you there. overly prepared.
Boy, I wish I joined your program when I was a teenager. You know what I did? Oh man, for real. Like maybe it would have saved me from buying that helicopter and sake set.
Right.
Like
And those two things should never go together. No.
I mean, it wasn't a real helicopter. I didn't got it like that, Nathan. Come on now.
Okay. I was imagining drinking sake, flying a helicopter for a minute. That was kind of interesting.
No, I remember it clear as day. I went from part-time to full-time at a company called Fastenal. This was back in 2008. So in 2008, I was a ripe 19 years old going into the workforce, and I only got the job because I had a valid driver's license.
Wow.
Everyone else in Pasco County, which if you've seen live PD, you'll kind of see what I was working with. I have stiff competition there.
Wow.
I got the job because everyone else applying, I had a referral, yeah, but I didn't really want the job. I had a valid driver's license, and they were like, "You don't have any DUIs, you're good to go." So when I got that part-time job, and making that jump to full-time, that was probably the biggest pay increase I've had in my life. Going from part, it's like you go from making like $300-400 a week to like $1,000 a week. Mm-hmm. So I thought I was big money, man. I took my girl to the mall. We went to Brookstone, and what did I see there? Calling my name, a remote control helicopter.
Of course.
For a solid $200. That first full-time paycheck, I dropped it on a $200 remote control helicopter that my cat tackled out of the air anyway and broke the fin, and I never fixed it. And a sake set, like an actual warm it up and drink warm sake.
Oh my gosh.
I dropped like $60 on that, and I never used it.
Next thing I would expect to hear out of your mouth.
I get it, man.
A fondue set.
No, I may have used that for multiple reasons.
Right.
We all love molten chocolate, right?
Oh, who wouldn't?
Leads me to my next question, Nathan. What do you do with molten chocolate?
I'll never tell. Chocolate covered ink pens, chocolate covered hats. There's a lot of different things you can do with chocolate.
It's okay, buddy. You don't have to kiss and tell. You can tell me offline.
That's all I have to say about that.
I worked on my tan over the weekend, or maybe a little bit of a burn, so you can't see me blush.
Oh, perfect. Me, it's just bad lighting and white skin. So.
Oh, well, that's really cool, man. Because it's like when you teach something on finance and you have a student, can they find that information on your LMS afterwards? Like, say they want to refer back to it, or all these courses that you have and these students have access to. Is it is it able to be looked at when they want to?
Yes, we actually make agreements with the video suppliers, like the program I'm talking about. And we have an agreement for them to load it up on our LMS, and we do keep it for later. We just, of course we pay our licensing fees and all that, but it's just one of the services we offer the students is we have that where they can go back. And things have changed a little bit since you guys have been here last. We've gone a step back in time to be a little more thorough with certain activities. I'll show you our latest. Hold on a second here. Our guys get to learn about engineering and drawings and blueprints.
Rad, GD&T.
And look at that. Yeah.
Greg dances techno, GDT, right?
Oh yeah. So now they have actual books to go along with the reference as well. So this is really good because they're going to work through this. It's
that's huge.
A self-paced course, but we have time frames. We have to have the sections done. And let's see, we have others. We have industrial fasteners. That's a pretty good
Ooh,
size.
I love industrial fasteners.
Yes.
Talk dirty to me, buddy.
Yeah, I know. You said fastener earlier. I'm like, oh, he's going to like this one.
Oh, I'm looking for that. You know what? I used to remember working in the Fastenal branch, and then every Christmas I'd have that one guy come in,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, hey, I need this screw for my watch, and then I'd have to find this random like little baby screw the size of like, you know, a fingernail clipping. And because that's one thing that I do remember, like the catalog for that company is like this thick and like that much of it's fasteners. It's like I just thought there was screws and bolts, like. So I do remember what was the name of that that company that sent you the iPads, where they preloaded it with all their company's materials and
SKF bearings. They actually
SKF bearings. That's it.
Yeah, they sent each of our students before the training. They sent us a tablet for each student with all of their material preloaded on the tablet, and the shortcuts for access to the websites for verification. So they've got these tablets now that they can take anytime, anywhere, and look up any SKF bearing. And then they went through a 4-day course on bearing theory and functions and types, and that they actually came on site. That's another thing we do that I don't think I mentioned enough, to be honest with you. We have our vendors like SKF and Miller Welding and Milwaukee Tools. They all actually come out to our facility, an expert from that company, and they teach our students about their products.
That's so rad, man. That's
really
cool.
Advantage that most places don't have, and that's just part of the amazingness of what U.S. Sugar is doing. To be honest with you,
I think it is genius, man. You get the subject matter expert from that specific company.
Right.
Because that's the one thing that I do remember is, you know, each one of your vendors has a perfect product line, because that's one thing that I remember, like working with higher education. The difference between a certificate and a certification.
Right.
So it's like a certificate isn't usually co-signed by the brand versus a certification. You can actually have someone. So just to understand, say Milwaukee. You can have someone, so your students, they're going through class, someone from Milwaukee Power Tools, like, you know, my granddaddy loves that DeWalt, but Milwaukee, they bring the value, and they bring the person that shows up and teaches your students how to use those tools.
Yes, they do.
That's sweet, man.
A lot of, we have a gear set company who came out about a month ago. And they shipped in 10 complete gear sets, small gear sets, for our students. And basically, when they started class, they went into theory, and then they took those apart piece by piece completely, laid them out on the bench, discussed every part, assembled it back in completely, and then they actually had to do the measurements and adjustments to get the alignments right on the gears. It was amazing. Wow. And they gave us those 10 gearboxes. So now each year we use those gearboxes to teach our students. They come out again.
So this thing's just going to keep expanding and evolving over time, because, you know, that's what the industry does. That's what technology does.
And it has. I mean, it has morphed since I started. I'm actually just at my 2-year mark here. And we started about 6 months after I got here, and it has just morphed into more and more, and it's just solidifying so nicely now. I mean,
that's really cool.
Like we were discussing before, I mean, the nice thing is we went from a major in mechanics to a little bit of welding, a little bit of machine shop, and a little bit of electrical. And now we're actually doing more welding as well. So now we're majoring in machine shop, and we're graduating certified welders.
Awesome. The actual certified welders.
Correct.
When we return, we're going to show you what a virtual reality welding simulator looks like, how it's used at ISTA to start teaching the students, and why it's important to start with virtual reality. We'll also learn that ISTA offers welding certifications and what that means to you. Stay tuned.
Do you want to understand your employees more? Want to be able to identify with those experienced manufacturing artisans known as a machinist? Maybe you're in HR and you want to understand more about manufacturing or where parts come from. Take this crash course on what manufacturing looks like from a variety of different perspectives. There's so many ways that you can get into manufacturing, But you can just start by taking the Introduction to Manufacturing course by FNG Training on Udemy. Get started by clicking the link below. We'll see you there.
So like welding specifically, let's talk about that. Usually, so these are mechanics that will also be certified in welding?
Yes. That basically makes them have a dual skills rating, which means they actually get paid more as well.
Wow.
I mean, you know, whether it be here or anywhere else, their resume and their bio, if you will, has just improved greatly.
So what does that look like? Because you already had, like I mentioned it a second ago, but that's that welding simulator.
Right.
Dude, that was quite possibly one of the coolest things I've seen in our travels, just because like I welded before on camera and it was subpar at best. At worst, it was god awful, horrible, probably would have got fired. So for me to get the same experience I can get on your welding simulator, I would have to burn through like hundreds of feet of like material, gas, company time, all this stuff. So
right.
If I had a welding simulator, can you tell me more about that thing? Because now that you can actually like dump out trained, certified mechanics that are trained in welding, how important is that simulator now?
Oh, it's huge. If somebody has never welded before, they don't understand any of the finesse involved in welding. Welding is a skill, and in my opinion, welding is an art. Because if you don't have the right hand for it, you're not going to be a good welder. You can't just teach anyone to weld just like putting two Legos together. It's very difficult at times.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, and if you get somebody, if you want good welders, you have to do it right. And the first thing they have to learn is the muscle memory of how to hold the electrode, whether they're doing stick welding, MIG welding, or TIG welding. We do primarily stick welding. But we need to know how far away to hold the stick from the part, how fast to move the stick, where to push, where to pull, or we're doing verticals, what are we doing, right? So that Miller Virtual Welder can be set up and it looks and sounds exactly like the welder when you're wearing this helmet. You can see it. I mean, anybody else can see a green screen type piece of metal, or it's not even a piece of metal, it's a piece of plastic. But once they turn on the VR, the virtual reality, it basically comes to life as a piece of steel and they're welding on it. And it helps them develop that muscle memory that they really need to be a good welder. And then once they learned on the virtual welder, which thankfully has there's no chance of getting burned or blinded or anything that would normally with a welding accident. So they learn how to do it there. But then we go to a live arc, which is the next piece of equipment that we have from Miller. And it's even better because they actually combine virtual with real welding. So in other words, literally they are down there welding a part, but yet they are virtually being watched by 3 cameras, and they have a special tip on the MIG gun and a special tip on the stick welder that has reflection points that the camera is following at all times. Yeah, so wherever it moves, the angle, the distance, anything, the speed, the cameras pick it up and it comes up live on your screen and it shows you up there, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going too fast. My angle is wrong. Maybe my actual amperage is wrong. My settings are wrong. It'll tell you. So they're actually welding apart, but they're doing it. It's almost like a hybrid between virtual and real. And then once they get through that, they get to the real welders.
Wow. So if we're going to do like, say, so Miller is pretty much like that partner that's helping you get to this point. And yeah. If we were to do a shameless plug, it would be for Miller, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, cause you're not going to get that just going to a school or something like that. Like this kind of love and support from a company like Miller. Miller's huge.
Oh yeah.
Like that is a massive company. And that just kind of shows how important and rare it is what you're doing for you to get this kind of love and support from them. That's really cool.
Yes, we do. We pay for our stuff. But yes, the companies also do send in some things on their dime, and they also send in trainers, and they don't always charge for the training because they know that in general our company spends a lot of money with them anyway.
Heck yeah.
And if we actually firm up on this as being our standard welder and our standard tool and our standard brand, that means a lot. You got a whole bunch of new and up and coming mechanics that are going to say, hey, I like Miller. I've been using them for years, ever since I started ISTA. They're going to remember that. I mean, I remember the first tools that I used. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And then you're partial to that.
Oh, it's like getting imprinted on. It's like
brand recognition.
For sure. And Miller is one of those brands. It's like these guys 20 years from now are going to be buying Miller hats, Miller hoods, jackets because of this. But it's how much welding wire do you think is consumed on property every year? It's like, because that's one thing, like as we work with you guys, like we just try to put things to scale, right? So if
I wouldn't even begin to know that number, because I mean, U.S. Sugar in general, we're welding here at ISTA, but that's nothing compared to how much they're welding out there in the plant.
Oh, I know, and that's one thing. Like as we're going through it and just like objectively looking at it. So like if we've made a video for the mill before, and you don't really realize the size of some of these things until you like actually start making that comparison, right? So like one of the comparisons that stuck out is the rail cars. And we had to make these different visuals and things, but one of the visuals is if you were to line up all of those rail cars that are dumping cane, it literally makes a line from like here to Canada, like literally like a point A to point B from Clewiston, Florida to Canada, and is how many rail cars get dumped there every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you think about that in terms of welding wire, I wonder what that looks like. It's like, do you have like a line of semis from the beginning of the plant to like Lake Okeechobee, and that's how much welding wire? It's just, that's kind of where my brain went.
If it wasn't for that, we really would. There's just so much going on.
Well, and that's where it's like the opportunity that you have there, the cross training that you get. Say one of these guys, and seeing the engineering principles, if a guy or a gal hops into the training, they after how many years are they in the training?
3 years.
3?
Mm-hmm.
So say after 3 years they want to go be an engineer and continue their education. You've created that pathway for them, and they have this amazing foundation to where it's like almost all the engineers I've ever worked with, some of the best ones were the ones that started on a factory floor or a trade program somewhere. Like the
best managers of anything come from the bottom up. We get and that's another reason, honestly, in our first year, we teach them so much more than just mechanics. Mechanics is real heavy in the second part of the first year, and then the second and third year. But the first part of the first year, we go into foundational skills that make them a good person first and a great mechanic next. And we want them to be future managers. We really do.
You know how I know it works with your students? So when we did our little visit a couple months ago, one of them, and we showed that sweet video on OG Coffee Co.
Yeah.
Your students ordered some of those right away.
Oh yeah.
So how has the cold brew machine, has that actually increased your productivity of your students? Can we like actually say cold brew has helped your productivity?
We can say whatever you want, Greg.
So cold brew has helped the productivity of your students by 5,000%.
Yes. Hey, you know what? Whatever it takes, man. It's all good.
When we return from the break, you'll hear some fun facts about Clewiston, Florida, a sexy description of Nathan's cold brew, a shameless Tom Brady mention, and we close out the show with a bad dad joke. We'll see you on the other side.
Don't let a new job bring out the stress in you. Let it bring out the best in you with New Employee Success by FNG Training on Udemy.com. Stress less with 1 hour training for 1 week to complete New Employee Success. Available now on Udemy. Gain insight as to what may be expected of you in your new role, and learning how to meet those expectations with positive results. Wait, if you use the link below, it's free. That's right, New Employee Success is free. Don't let a new job bring out the stress in you. Let it bring out the best in you with New Employee Success on Udemy.com. Click the link below to get started today. See you there for free.
Another fun fact, the closest Starbucks to Clewiston is 45 miles away.
The closest anything to Clewiston is 45 miles away. Yeah. No, I will take. We do have a Walmart. Yes, we do. Really excited. And a McDonald's and a Burger King. Yes, and a Wendy's.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. I've already sent a letter to the CEO of Starbucks asking for one to be installed.
Oh, and then we do have an advanced. We have an Advanced Auto Parts, and last year they finally did what they did everywhere else and built an AutoZone right across the street from it.
So, on your next team meeting with the bosses addressing everyone, can you put a suggestion that US Sugar and ISTA reach out to Starbucks so that maybe ISTA can have their own inside the facility? I feel like it's a natural progression.
I don't know. Since we have a Dunkin' Donuts in town, that might be
True.
Because I don't know.
You know, I've never tried the Dunkin' cold brew. I know they have it.
It's actually really good. And if you want something really good,
does that sound like a challenge, James?
Yeah, the frozen mocha coffee, and then I get an extra shot of mocha, and then I get a shot of espresso in it.
All right.
That is like.
Can you slow that down and say that real sexy like?
Okay. You get the chocolate mocha. It's already deep, it's already dark, but you're gonna make it even better. You're gonna add an extra shot of espresso and an extra shot of mocha to make it even deeper and darker. That's right. If that wasn't enough, it's frozen. You're as cool as a cucumber, even on a hot day. Is that good enough?
That was better than expected, sir. Better than expected.
Hey, I gotta try, man. How do you think I got for being
Hey, man, you got me convinced.
for so many years?
Impressions. Duncan after this, like, you got me. Now we got it recorded exactly what I should get when I go. So, and I'm gonna repeat it exactly how you just did.
Frozen mocha.
Well, it's like
it sounds like a wrestler's name, or an Alaskan wrestler. Frozen mocha.
That's actually our next endeavor is our own wrestling promotion, Alaskan Wrestling.
Perfect. Yes.
We're working on the pilot now.
They had a Jamaican bobsled team. Why not an Alaskan beach volleyball squad? That's it.
Hey, man, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl at 43 for the 7th time. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Why do I feel so much older than him, even though I am older than him? But why do I feel so much older than he looks? I don't get it. Well, that must be.
I feel so much uglier than he looks. Like, come on, man. Like, that's.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there. I might just actually burst into tears. So we're all good, though. No.
I know, right? Well, I mean, it's like, if I did have shame, I would probably be shamed at how beautiful he is on a regular basis, and I probably wouldn't leave the house just because it's like, how can I ever achieve that level of amazingness in that champion chisel, the chin,
the champion chisel. Yeah,
James coined that one. I would like to shamelessly steal that, but James, really, that was a good one. Well, Nathan, I'm at the bottom of my cup, so we know what that means.
Oh no, that means you have to go to the restroom. Sorry.
Well, synonymous with that means I gotta go. And
All
when
right.
you gotta go, my man. You know.
Yeah, you got to go.
This was awesome having you, though. I'm really excited to do this again, and see you keep growing, man. Keep teaching me some cool knowledge bombs each time.
We'll do that. We'll do that. There's always something new going on here. That's for sure.
And can you close us out with a dad joke, please?
What do you call a cow with no legs?
What?
Ground beef.
That's what we were looking for.
Yeah, we got it.
I told you, it just comes to mind. Just that there's no prompting it.
Oh
Just-
man, I'm gonna call you Butter because you're on a roll, bud.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, throw it in. High five.
That just made me happier than a fat kid in a cup kid face. Or, you know.
High five in the center because there's no green screen behind it.
Oh, that's the other computer there. There we go.
All right, buddy.
High five. Oh.
And I'll stop recording.